Hello, this is Lauren Welch, and today I want to talk to you about Autodesk Vault Professional's third-party CAD integrations, specifically with Dassault Systemes Solidworks. So what we're using today is SolidWorks 2010 along with Autodesk Vault Professional 2011. So under the Tools add-ins inside of SolidWorks, you can simply go in and turn on the add-in for Autodesk Vault. With that turned on, we can take a deeper look at the integration. We obviously have a Vault tab inside of the SolidWorks ribbon, along with a tab on top of the SolidWorks Feature Manager tree. Let's go ahead and log into our Vault and take a look at how we can track some of these design changes we make inside of SolidWorks with Autodesk Vault Professional. The first thing we'll do is see that inside of the tab that's part of Vault Professional, we see and understand not only the SolidWorks files, but also the associated references and structure. So when we check in these files, we can tell them any additional notes or metadata we need with the check-in, but it takes in all the children, and then you'll notice that the symbols change over inside of our Vault Professional tab to let us know that these files are indeed controlled by Vault. You'll also notice that the top of the SolidWorks window now says read only for this file because it's controlled by Vault. When we go to open up the Spring file, a warning came up to let us know that this was a read-only file. And we're going to take a look at the configurations of this spring. It's just a way for SolidWorks to manage multiple sizes in a single part file, which can become quite problematic for some data management systems to handle, including Dassault Systems' own data management systems. Here we're going to check out this file and make a change to some of the metadata. In this case, I will simply go to my file properties and add some vendor information. In this case, I'm just adding where we purchased this particular spring from. Once that information has been added, the symbols let me know that this file has in fact been changed, and after a save, I need to again check this in to keep it up to date inside of my Autodesk Vault. Let's go ahead and check this in and just add some information about what changes were made. Obviously in this case, we just added some vendor information. And check this into the Vault. With that checked in, again the symbol changes to let us know that the file is up to date and indeed checked in. Let's go ahead and make a quick drawing of this file as well and take a look at how SolidWorks creates this data and then again how Vault Professional manages it. So with the drawing created, let's take a look at the Vault tab over in the Feature Manager tree of SolidWorks. So it recognizes that this is indeed a drawing and that it needs to be saved. So we'll simply save this off, and upon saving it, it'll now tell us what the file references are within this drawing, and that the drawing does need to be added into the Autodesk Vault. So let's go ahead and do that with a simple check-in procedure. Again, adding any notes or information that are pertinent to this particular check-in. Here we'll check in the drawing, and it'll keep up to date that associated SLD PRT file. So let's take a look at Vault and see what's going on. So here inside of the Autodesk Vault standalone client, I can take a look at that drawing and associated part files. So here's that SLD DRW, and we can see again the file references that it gathers that were upon check-in, any change orders that might be pending to this file, and we can actually preview it using the Autodesk DWF or DWF technology to view all of the SolidWorks data inside of my Autodesk Vault standalone client. So here we have the drawing and we can view it. Let's take a look at things like the assembly. So that entire scissors assembly file, or in this individual spring file, it gives me a nice data card showing me all of the information, including property information that I typed in inside of SolidWorks. I can bring up uses or where used for bill of material type of information upstream and downstream, and again preview even the 3D models inside of my Vault standalone client. That being done, we want to talk about things like bill of materials management or EBOMs. Well, we do that inside of Vault Professional with a tool called items. So we simply can assign an item. In this case, I'll do a very simple example of just that SolidWorks drawing in the part file. Now remember that part file had configurations. So here we recognize there are two parts as part of that individual part file because of configurations, but only one is actually used in this drawing. And another thing we can do is we can have specific item numbering schemes based on the type of file they are. So we can set up categories or file classifications, and here I just have a specific numbering scheme for SolidWorks files. So we do have to keep track of that other configuration. We're just also keeping track that it's not currently being used in a drawing. With that being done, we'll go ahead and complete this task and make an item of these particular drawings. So once we have the items created for bill of material management, it gives us the capabilities to do a lot more things. Things like managing this data in a way of revision control, taking it outside of just versioning, but also taking these particular files and assigning them to things like change orders or ECNs. So here's my item, or my item data card, and of course we can view it, but one of the things you'll notice when I view the drawing, it gives me a watermark of work in progress, because we have now lifecycle management or lifecycle states that we can manage as an item. So we don't have the risk of people printing that drawing and manufacturing off of it. We can also go through and we can do things like add this item or these files to a change order. So if I come in and I apply a new change order to this particular item with SOLIDWORKS files in it, I can list what files are part of this change order, any additional comments or external files that need to be added. I can take a look at the routing and different routing techniques we can use and configure, and where it's at in the overall status of the change order. So all this can be done on native SOLIDWORKS files inside of Vault Professional. Let's also go ahead and just, because of my administrative rights, just bypass that and move this to a release process. So let's just pretend we went through the entire release cycle. And now, when I look at that drawing, I have a watermark of the released and effective that automatically gets placed on this drawing, this SOLIDWORKS drawing upon print. So when we talk about printing or plotting, we actually have a SOLIDWORKS specific plot manager built into Vault Professional. This allows me to add all of my SOLIDWORKS SLD DRWs, all their drawing files, into our plot manager. So here you can assign which device will be plotting this out and manage the queue specifically with SOLIDWORKS files. We can also take this data and share it both internally and externally with the organization with our Autodesk Vault Professional web client. This is a free utility that comes with Autodesk Vault Professional, and it allows people, based on their user rights and the file types, to view specific data. So here I want to look at just individual files, and you'll notice on the left I can browse these files very similar to my standalone client. So if I look at my SOLIDWORKS data and see these files, I have the ability to not only select these drawings and read some information, but view them with the Autodesk Designer view that's embedded directly into Internet Explorer. So now people can take a look and they can view, mark up, possibly print these documents, but they're purely consumers of the data. Any additional CAD integration we have inside of SOLIDWORKS just really streamlines the user's day-to-day tasks. So by a right click, I can actually show the details of that individual part file, all the different versions I had created, along with where it's being used, both upstream and downstream. So that scissor spring is part of the overall scissors assembly and its individual drawing. So a quick way for users to access a lot of information directly in the CAD tool without having to go to that standalone client. So just with some simple hovering over the mouse, you get additional information. So that was my overview of Autodesk Vault Professional 2011 working with Dassault Systemes Solidworks 2010.